everyone, wherever you're located, whatever your time zone is. Welcome to Crossfire with Sir Butch Valdes and Paglinawan. This is Rita Gadi. Today is the 1st of October, another month. And just a couple of days from now, it's going to be just about the end of the year. But we are into close to 100 days of this new administration. 100 days on the 8th of October, as a matter of fact, if you really go mathematically with it. And that is why today we're going to ask that question: where are the priorities? What is the order of priorities? What is a priority? So here we are with all our dreams and the vision that we somehow managed to do by ourselves. But nonetheless, it is important that we throw the question back at our viewers. And so here we are on Crossfire to discuss precisely the order of priority. Sir Butch.
That's right, Rita. We asked that question now, but it's a question that all of us, I think, have been asking from day one when the president had assumed office, no? And we started asking what are his priorities. And somehow, nakikita natin kung saan siya papunta by analyzing the kind of people he was putting into his government.
Exactly.
So it gave us some sort of direction, but it does not seem like
Like it's going anywhere?
that it's going anywhere. Yun ang feeling. That's why there is a anxiety, hindi lang sa atin, no? Hindi lang sa but our people as well, no? I am sure they're a bit anxious about what's going on. Where will they start feeling the betterment of their life, no? In this administration?
Okay, the first thing actually that the president announced was him taking over the Department of Agriculture. At the time, food on the table was very important. But then, what came out was we had problems with sugar, we had problems with salt, we had problems with onions, we had problems with just about any basic food that goes into the cooking. And then, of course, we have, again, the health protocols and all of these announcements from something that was created a long time ago, the IATF. And then you have the president encouraging everybody to go booster with their vaccines, etc. But we still don't have a Secretary of Health. And then, of course, the president traveled already. First, the Southeast Asian countries, which is really part of the roadmap that all presidents follow. And then to the United States of America. Ano, Ado?
Well, I see a trajectory, but I don't see where it is. I don't see the destination. So, I don't see any programs except motherhood statements, which we have been hearing for 30 years from 1986 to 2016. And if there was any political will shown, it was only during the time of the previous administration, where at least a definitive stand on preference towards national interest governing governance as the guiding light would be the primary consideration in with whatever department it may apply. And so we saw that when the past president came into power, the first thing he took on was the peace and order situation, which was on a basket case during that time, assumably on the matter of drugs and on the matter of the local insurgencies, especially the problem with the CPP, NPA, and the F. There were other things that were being taken on. The absence of infrastructure, which was with the rapprochement policy towards China, which basically defined the foreign policy. We saw a direction, and this was fast-tracked, and we saw a tremendous list of achievements. There was barely no integration yet because the COVID-19 pandemic hit the country towards the end of 2019. And we are seeing ourselves from the other side of it in an attempt to recover post-pandemic.
Exactly. If we go by many of the things which have to be attended to, it's really over 100 if you're going to talk about what are the priorities really. But let's do it just exactly how it comes to our attention. Just recently, we had a meeting. We heard of a meeting in Honolulu between the Defense Department of the Philippines, and the representative there was Jose Faustino Jr. And then we had the Secretary of National Defense of the United States of America. And they began, or at least they started, talking about the Mutual Defense Treaty. Now, why is this important? Why is this a priority for us now? Because we have seen what is happening up north between Taiwan and, of course, several movements of either the United States military vessels, and then, of course, China, on the other hand, also within that area. So the Mutual Defense Treaty is one priority. And it affects us because what is happening in Ukraine, and it could happen here, likewise, which is very close to our country.
Yep.
So, Sir
Well,
Butch.
More than just that, Rita. Faustino, was it Faustino?
Yes, Jose Faustino Jr.
What is his position?
Well, he's representing the
position,
Defense Department.
He's
Under
Undersecretary
Secretary for Defense.
Officer in charge.
Okay, and he gives a statement, practically a commitment to the United States, that in case there is a conflict between China and the United States with regard to Taiwan, the Philippines was going to side with the United States. Yeah? Something to that effect.
Something
right?
to yeah, exactly. And dragging the Mutual Defense Treaty, as a matter of fact,
Yes,
which is not
that-
any provision in the
Which
treaty.
is part of that, of the conditions that they wanted to add into the Mutual Defense Treaty. And many people were appalled by that kind of a commitment. First of all, why ano yun, why will they be angry with that country?
Because Faustino said the Philippines will support the United States when it comes to protecting Taiwan from Chinese aggression. Why people are asking, why is the Mutual Defense Treaty, which is a bilateral treaty, all of a sudden specifying a third country, which is China and Taiwan? Besides, Article 5 of the Mutual Defense Provision provides an armed attack on either side of the parties is deemed to include an armed attack on the metropolitan territory of either parties. I will stop there and continue later. It's supposed to be a defensive treaty. Why is now all of a sudden it's being imputed to be an offensive weapon where the Philippines will be used as a take-off point into protecting Taiwan from Chinese aggression? And why is there an assumption in the first place that there is an aggression on the part of the Chinese?
Exactly.
As far as I could remember,
Taiwan
the
is
force
the
that have been provoking in the area are not the Chinese, but the Americans. So this is all a setup. Matters of this importance should first be subjected to a detailed study of implications, ramifications, and consequences
Exactly.
before an ordinary employee of the Department of National Defense takes it up with his counterpart abroad.
Exactly. Alam ni po ninyo,
The height of
ang
responsibility.
Taiwan ay probinsya ng China. China yan eh. Kaya nga ang ating policy internationally by the United Nations, by all the countries signatory to the United Nations Declaration on this, yung tinatawag nga na One China Policy. Kaya parang yung probinsya ng China, kung ano man ang problema nun, let the mainland China take care of it. Bakit tayo papasok? That's exactly what Ado was saying. Now, why is this dangerous? Sapagkat pag pinapasok yung defense treaty na yan, na nanganak na rin ng Visiting Forces Agreement kung saan merong mga training at nanganak na ng EDCA, yung Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, yun ang nakakatakot doon. Sapagkat yung EDCA na yan, dyan tayo delikado. Manyari, sa Antonio Bautista Air Base sa Palawan, sa Basa Air Base sa Pampanga, sa Fort Magsaysay sa Nueva Ecija, sa Lumbia Airport sa Cagayan de Oro, at sa Benito Ebuen Air Base sa Mactan, Cebu, ay andyan ang mga Amerikano. American personnel, American equipment, American officers.
Alam mo, Rita, sinabi ni Faustino, he said, eto tingnan niyo yung double speak dito. While the Philippines adheres to the One China policy, wow! For the first time, there is a statement from this government about a principle that it is supporting internationally. Pero ito ang kasunod. It is important for the Mutual Defense Treaty to be updated to conform to the prevailing security situation in the Indo-Pacific region. Ha? Eh sino ba itong kausap natin? Ha? Ito po yung nag-spend ng 7 trillion in the past 20 years for mga gera-gera worldwide. At yung gusto niyang proteksyonan siya, tulungan natin siya, is somebody who has been helping who has been trying to network humanitarian help and economic advancement, development, especially for developing countries. So, ay yung pang rogue state ang gusto ni Faustino tulungan versus a benign state na tumutulong sa iba. Bakit ba ganito ang utak ng taong ito? Saan ba nanggaling to? Under what rock has been hiding all these years?
Ang gusto ko malaman, what is he? He's an Undersecretary of Defense, right? Now, does he have permission to say what he said? At least by the Secretary of Defense, or does he have permission of the President to say what he said? Because those statements are committing the country to something, no? Something that the people will need to be appraised of. If at all, since it is a treaty, any kind of changes, whether up or down, no, I suppose we'll need this Senate's ratification, hindi ba?
And it's not
Bakit siya basta magbibigay ng ganyan, wala siyang pahintulot?
It's not up for somebody who is dito, no? Because hindi naman policy maker yan.
Yan nga.
No? At ang palagay ko, itong si Faustino, hindi binabasa ang ating konstitusyon. Ang sabi po ng konstitusyon natin sa Section 2, Article 2, the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy. So why will you now support the U.S. when it comes to warring with China? Adopts a general accepted principles of international law, which prohibits violence, no? And adheres to the policy of peace, equality, justice, freedom, cooperation, and amity with all nations. It also proves, ito, by a single act of the undersecretary of a department, binasura niya, ininsulto niya ang kanyang Pangulo because ang stand ng kanyang Pangulo is to pursue an independent foreign policy. How can we have an independent foreign policy if an armed attack on the metropolitan, tutuloy ko na po, territory of either the parties, or ito ang catch dito, ito ang delikado dito, or on the island territories under its jurisdiction in the Pacific Ocean, aba, kasama ang Guam at saka Hawaii. It's armed forces, public vessels or aircraft in the Pacific. Pagka ho nagkaproblema ang isang eroplano o isang submarino o isang barko ng Amerika, lulusob na tayo sa Taiwan, anong klaseng pag-iisip meron itong, is this guy a hope or something? Warmonger or ano pa to?
Paalala mo yung yung sinabi ng Pangulong President Adeline Marcos nung kaharap niya ito, at he was talking about the Mutual Defense Treaty. Could you paraphrase for us what he said during that time? Tatandaan ko, sinabi niya, nga, meron tayong Mutual Defense Treaty. Pero pag merong naggera sa amin, tatakbo muna kayo sa Kongreso, no? Para kumuha ng approval.
Kongreso nila.
Kongreso nila. Kami, habang kami pinapatay na, tatakbo pa kayo dyan, no?
Ito si Ferdinand Marcos Sr. addressing the National Press Club
Yes.
in September 1982 sa Washington, D.C., saying something to that effect, that the letter of the treaty provides that you will have to process it in accordance with your constitutional processes. Which means that you will be debating it here in your Senate and the Congress. And while you are talking about it here, we are already dying over there.
Yeah.
Yun ang sabi nung matandang Marcos. Mukhang itong anak fell far from the tree.
You know, sometimes you really have to have some knowledge of history when it comes to that. Ano ba nangyari ng Second World War? Bakit ba kinailangan sabihin ni General MacArthur, I will return. I shall return. Iniwanan tayo eh. We were already bombed together with Pearl Harbor on the same day, practically, December 8. So what happened? Hindi muna tayo dinefensa ng Amerika dito. We were already attacked and we were under the Japanese for what? 4 to 5 years? See, that if you go back in history, yung Mutual Defense Treaty na yun na 1951 pa, walang effect yan even at the time that the world was already at war. They first attended to the war in Europe. Sila Eisenhower, lahat yung mga yan. Bago sila nagkaroon ng the biggest naval battle nga dito sa Pacific, after 5 years, bumagsak na ang Corridor, bumagsak na ang Bataan. That's what happened. Now, that's history way back. Recent history. As soon as President Adeline Marcos became president, Sir Butch, kaagad inimbita siya sa Amerika to address the joint houses of Congress. Bakit? There was a war in Vietnam raging. Vietnam was only 5-6 hours away. O para sabihin ni Marcos sa Amerika, sasama kami sa'yo. Kasi yun ang gusto ng Amerika, hinanda nila yan. How did they prepare for that? My God. Cover ng Time Magazine, cover ng lahat ng mga dyaryo nila, cover ng Life Magazine. Ang pinakagwapo na kanilang American ally dito sa Pacific, si Ferdinand Adeline Marcos. Si Mrs. Marcos, pinakamagandang First Lady. Anong sinabi ni Presidente natin sa Amerika? America does not forget. Kailangan kami sumama sa inyo nung Second World War, pero hindi mo pa binabayaran yung mga veteranong Pilipino in that war.
Na pinangako ni Franklin Delano
Exactly.
at ni MacArthur
Exactly.
na bawat namatay na kalabaw
Oo.
ay babayaran ng
Babayaran.
Amerika.
So, if that president already denied America not sending any combat troop to Vietnam, bakit ngayon itong pinagsasabi under that same mutual defense treaty, kasi that was already in effect at the time, sasama tayo kung sakaling may mangyari sa Taiwan? Where is this coming from?
Alam mo, isang analyst sa Washington ang nagsabi sa akin nung ako po'y nanunungkulan sa embassy to, na the biggest contribution of the Philippines in World War II was to delay the advance of the Japanese towards Australia. Ginawa tayong delaying tactic ng mga animal.
Buffer.
Ha? Ginawa tayong buffer zone. Ha? At nga 1 million, sabi ni Ferdinand Sr., we had a casualty of 1 million. Kasi tinatanong itong mga Amerikanong journalists, no? Yung iba nga sila pa nagbabayad ng base militar namin. Ha? Wala kaming ginagastos dyan. Pero kayong mga Pilipino, humihingi kayo ng mas mataas na renta. Kaya kung binanggit ni, if sabi ng matandang Marcos, if an accounting will have to be done, ayan, yung sinasabi ng Rita. Pero ano nangyari? America forgets. America has short memory.
Buhat nung nangyari yun, nung nagtalumpati si the first
Matanda.
President Marcos there. Tapos narinig ko itong anak niya recently, he said that the Mutual Defense Treaty must go into an evolution or must evolve, no, into something else. Now, I figure that he was thinking that it will evolve towards our favor, no?
It should.
Our people. That's what evolution means, di ba? No? Ganyan ang... Pero itong must evolve into something after the Faustino Declaration, no? Nag-deteriorate tayo, no? Bumagsak tayo dito. Tayo ang dumidepensa sa kanila, hindi silang dumidepensa sa atin, no? Tayo nakikipaglaban para sa kano. Hindi yung kano ang tutulungan tayo pag tayo ang inatake.
Di naman magaling ang kanong Butch. They are willing to die to the last Filipino. Yan ang sinasabi ko. No?
Okay, so
At, kung meron mang dapat na evolution, no? Ay hindi yung babalik tayo sa pagkaunggoy.
Tama?
Kung may evolution, it must be towards releasing us from unnecessary pressure. Ito na nga ang effects ng pandemic. Ito na nga yung mga prices ng inflation, ang mga bilihin and all that stuff. No? At pupunta tayo dyan kung bakit nagkakaganyan ngayon yan. No? Ang dapat na direksyon, going south,
Right.
General Faustino, sir. And ginawa mo, you're going north. Yun ang sinasabi ni Butch. Bakit? Ang dapat na evolution yan is towards an unconditional abrogation
That's right.
ng treaty na yan. Bakit? So that we can safely say that we have an independent foreign policy. Sinabi ko na kanina, paano tayo magkakaroon ng independent foreign policy when pag inatake ay isang barko ng Amerika, the Mutual Defense Treaty holds us. No? Anywhere in the Pacific, holds us to protect them. Ewan ko ba naman kung paano natin sila poproteksyonan. So the only evolution, together with the EDCA and the BFA, is a total abrogation of this. Let us reboot. Yan ang ating foreign relations with the U.S., pero kailangan mag-zero-based muna tayo. Bakit po mga kabansa? Dahil hindi na po ito ang mundo ni General MacArthur. Hindi na po ito ang mundo ni Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Hindi na rin ito ang mundo ni Reagan. Hindi na rin ito ang mundo ni Clinton. Ha? Although, gusto manood ni Bongbong ng Eric Clapton at si Clinton magpatuktog ng saxophone. Si Bongbong naman kakanta rin at saka magsasayaw ng mugi. Ha? Hindi na ho yan ang panahon ngayon. Dahil nasa bisperas na po tayo ng pangatlong
Third World War.
Malawakan.
daigdigang digmaan. Yan.
So that is why, ang una natin tinalakay ngayon, kung nakikinig kayong mabuti, in the order of our priorities, itong ating foreign policy. Sapagkat nakita natin ang nangyari sa Ukraine at sa Russia, malaking hidwaan na nangyayari dyan, mas grabe ang mangyayari dito sa atin. At huwag tayong magpagamit. Yan. So the first order of priority, ayusin natin yung ating Mutual Defense Treaty. Marami yan na priorities na kailangan. Pero ito ang talagang nakakatakot. Sabi nga ni Ado, we are at the brink of a third world war. And that is how dangerous it is. It is a priority. Kaya the sooner na masiayos yung ating foreign policy at lahat yung mga careless statements ng other officials of this government ay ingat-ingatan na sana. Ingat-ingatan na yan. We are bringing attention to this because we have a good president who means well as far as our country is concerned. So yan. Pasukan natin ng ibang priority naman talaga. Pagkain, agriculture, aquaculture. Naku, ang haba nung tinalakay ni Ado nung sa nakaraan nga tungkol sa aquaculture, kung bakit na hindi tayo dapat magugutom. We are surrounded by all of these waters where we can have sea creatures. But why is it that hirap pa tayo hanggang ngayon sa pagkain with the president that has taken over the Department of Agriculture itself? Bigla tayo napatahimik.
Yan mga kabansa, dahil ang ating farmer ay 57 years old pataas. Ganun po katanda ang ating farmers at walang anak na mga farmers natin ang gustong maging
Bumalik.
farmer. At ako, I feel this because may kapiraso pong lupang iniwan sa akin ng aking tatay, yung pong niyog, whether I like it or not, makakaani ako doon because every 45 days, nag-germinate ng mga bagong niyog yun. No? Pero yung pong sakahan ng palay, 2 taon na po na hindi ako makakuha ng farmer dahil nag-resign na po ang mga farmers ko. Ayaw nang magtanim. So, anong gagawin? So, eto, binigyan to ng atensyon. Pero, ang dapat ko sabihin kay Pangulo, hindi atensyon na kailangan ikaw pa mismo ang pumunta dyan dahil ang daming ibang prioridad na nakabitin. No? Kanina nga, binanggit na yung foreign policy. Nagpa-sablay na ng kaunti tungkol sa health. Ang laki ho ng problema natin sa health. No? At ngayon nandito tayo sa agriculture. 110 million people walang makapagpatakbo ng agriculture na yan. Bibigyan ko kayo ng isang pangalan. Luisito Lorenzo. Mr. President, kontrakin niyo bukas. Dahil ako'y nanungkulan kay Luisito Lorenzo amid very difficult circumstances yung panahon ni Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo na ang aming ilalim was full of corruption. Naiakyat po namin ng 8.7% ang annual production average ng bansang ito in a matter of 20 months when the national production average was only 2.9%.
Wow.
Ang bilis! Hindi na kami nagplano, dahil marami na pong plano dyan. There is no more planning needed. Ha? Kaya ko tuwa na si William Darre wala na dyan. Dahil number 1 ho yan sa pagpaplano, 0 sa implementasyon. Ayan, kaya tayo nagkakadamahog ngayon. At ano nangyari noon? Nayakyat po namin in 20 months to 97% ang ating rice sufficiency at ang corn sufficiency to 83%. Kung hindi nyo alam ang telepono, Mr. President, ni Luisito Lorenzo, tawagan nyo ako. Ha? At bumili na kayo rin ng libro ko, mamaya i-announce ko ang aking telepono. Oh.
Okay, well,
Para ikaw pa mag-aksaya ng panahon dyan habang everybody else is playing around your cabinet. Wow! You have the luxury of time.
tsaka what's happening, no? Everybody's willing na walang nangyayari dito sa Department of Agriculture. Bakit mo inahawakan? Di sa'yo dadating yung bintang. Ang sasabihin, dahil ang presidente walang kakayanan mag-head ng Department of Agriculture. Hindi ka naman makakagawa ng mga ganyan na statistika na mag-i-improve ang production mo. Anong ginagawa mo sa agriculture? Naghahanap ka ng mga tiwali, mga corruption, yung mga connivance sa mga traders, saka kung ano-ano. No?
Import.
You know, the whole point about the crisis, no, is our people. Our people might go into starvation levels when they cannot afford the things that for them to sustain themselves. They will not buy food. They will eat less. They will sick and they will die. No? Ganyan ang kasimple yang, Mr. President. So what you have to do is come out. There are many programs, no? But it has to be more specific. Kasi
In fact, roadmaps lang kailangan, hindi na program.
Oo.
Saan papunta yung trajectory sinasabi mo?
Oo.
Saan papunta?
Remember,
Where are we going?
cannot call ourselves a nation, no? If we cannot feed ourselves. No? Hindi pwede yung palagi sinasabi ng mga ibang senador dyan, katulad nila Villar, ganyan, na kinakailangan mag-i-import tayo or rice tarification, magbaba tayo ng mga buwis. Ang ginagawa mo, papatayin mo yung mga magsasaka mo. Not only that, you're killing yourself as a nation that cannot produce food anymore, that we will be dependent on the production of other countries. Ganyan ang mentality nito mga nasa gobyerno. Tingnan nyo yan, Mr. President. No? Look for somebody who knows how to make food, produce food for 110 million people. Meron ng recommendation dito, no? And it seems he is a good man that can do it. There are others, no?
By the way, the name I mentioned is responsible for our exports of pineapple and bananas.
Yes.
Napanday yung bananas, Del Monte yung pineapple. So, hindi ito, hindi ito basta ganun-ganun lang. No. May track record po yan, mga yan. Marami pong career na talagang sincere dyan sa loob ng Department of Agriculture. No? Eh, noon ng panahon namin, nagawa namin 4 times a year ang harvest ng tilapia. Can you imagine? Every 3 months, makaka-harvest kayo ng table size na tilapia ganyan na pwede sa hapagkainan. At pag dinoble ninyo, 6 months, nagiging plapla or fillet, na-export. Abay, pag-uwi ko minsan sa Virginia, dahil dinalo ko yung pamilya ko doon, nakita ko nandun na siya sa Giant Food Store. Aba, ganun ho kabilis eh.
Ang ano lang, I just wanted to add to this. No? Of course, we're talking about food. No? Pero ang food, konektado sa halaga, presyo ng food. No? Basic yan po. Pag tumataas ang supply of food, there is a tendency for prices to stay stable. Pag bumaba ang production ng food mo, no, hindi nakakayanan dahil ang presyo ng pagkain tataas because yung production, yung supply mo, liliit. So tumataas ang presyo, lumiliit yung production. Bakit lumiliit ang production? Pinatay mo yung production capacity. pinatay mo by rice tarification, by all of these
Important.
importations, pinatay mo. So ganyan ang nangyayari sa atin. Ang kumikita, yung mga traders, no? Yung mga traders, marami sila, of course, tawag natin Chinese traders, pero mga traders in general, no? Sila lang ang kumikita, yung mga middlemen. Ganyan lang naman natin dapat tignan yan, Mr. President, no? Move into production. Now, it's easier said than done, of course. Alam na natin yung we need to have the infrastructure to move into major production.
At saka kaagibat ng production noon, improving production, was yung konsepto ng farm to market roads, not just in terms of infrastructure, but delivery from the point of supply to the point of demand. No? Ganon kabilis. To the point na, alam mo, nagpasikat yan si Manuel Piñol. One time, nangailangan ng mga fruits, yung mga fruits ng Davao, dinala niya kung saan lugar where the demand, it can be done. No?
Pwede.
If we have to use the flying coffins of our Philippine Air Force that have been procured from the United States surplus yard, no? Gawin natin. Total, mag-crash man yung mga aeroplano na yan, mga prutas lang yan.
But you could see there talagang interconnected lahat yan.
Yes.
Sinasabi nga, you have the infrastructure, you need the marketing, you need the production. Ngunit, may mga connecting pa rin yan. Kagaya halimbawa, ano na nangyari sa ating land reform program? Hindi lang sa land reform, nadagdagan pa ng comprehensive agrarian reform program. So, ang nangyayari dyan, sa 5 hectares, sa 7 hectares, dumami ba ang ating ani? Hindi. Ano nangyari din sa ating land use? So, nakikita mo that there are other institutions that are also hampering production of food. Sapagkat, imbes na yung sa buong Central Luzon yan, sinasabi nga lahat yan, rice granary na yan at lahat. Ngunit, tinayuan ng mga factory, may mga piggery, may mga subdivision, may mga malls, land use na naman. Kaya nakita mo kagaya sa amin sa Mindanao, Cotabato was the biggest production of corn at the time. Ano na nangyari ngayon? So again, yan sinasabi nga ni Ado at saka ni Sir Butch, kinakailangan all the other agencies connected with the production of food asikasuhin na rin. Order of priorities.
Nabanggit mo yung isang kalulus-lulus na realidad na binasura ng Cory Aquino. At itong si Imelda Marcos, I think a person that has been born before her time. Dahil siya ang konsepto ng Department of Human Settlements.
Yeah.
Ngayon, ang Department of Human Settlements ay for housing only.
Ala,
At ibinigay pa ni PBBM sa isang house real estate businessman, no? Ewan ko, malapit daw sa kusina. So anyway, hindi na tayo pupunta doon. Ang human settlements po noon, nilagay ang tao sa gitna ng lahat ng mga departamentong ito. At lahat ng mga departamentong ito ay dapat magsilbi sa pangangailangan, sa prioridad, sa kapakanan ng taong bayan. No? Kaya, halimbawa, isang lugar, residential, may katabi na factory, baka kinakailangan either yung mga tirahan ang ilipat ng malayo at maisayos o yung factory ang idalhin kung saan. Kasi araw-araw ba namang hiralang kami. Yung mga ganong concerns, no? Na pati yung environmental, pati itong mga climate change na naririnig natin ngayon, tao po ang nasa gitna niyan. Pero ano nangyayari ngayon? Hindi nyo ba napansin ang baha, mga kabansa? Nireport, di ba? Nasaan na ang baha? umurong na po sa Nueva Ecija, Tarlac at Pangasinan. Bakit? Ano nangyari doon sa baha? Sa Pampanga,
Wala
sa
na.
Bulacan?
Hindi na ba kalabas?
Nabarahan na ho ng isang
Barado.
airport na ginagawa. Yan ang sinasabi ko. Ang taong bayan, 5 ang nalunod, ha? 5 ang nalunod. Pero pag natapos po yung airport na yan, maniwala kayo sa akin. Bayan-bayan, barangay-barangay ang malulunod. Bakit? Kakahunhun nila yan ng isang kanal at yung airport at yung city nasa gitna, lahat ng nasa labas ng kanal. Bahala na kayo. Yan ho. Kaya kayo mga taga-Pampanga, taga-Bulacan, kapag naririnig ninyo, bago kayo bumili ng kotse, hatiin nyo ang budget, bumili na kayo ng bangka. Yan o, medyo ginagawa natin konting light ang usapan, pero itong mga bagay na ito, ay kailangan natin sa prioridad.
Dagdag natin na yung magpapatupad nung pagpatapos ng airport na yan ay si Secretary Bunuan.
Uy!
Secretary Bunuan ng Public Highways,
Okay.
Public Works and Highways. Sinong Secretary Bunuan? Tao ni Ramon ang
Ayan.
sponsor niyang airport na sinasabi mo sa Bulacan.
Kaya hindi na natin malaman kung saan papunta ang ano na ito. Pero kung ako'y babalik sa isa pang prioridad, Rita, if I may, no? You were about to say something. Kailangan ho na nabanggit namin na mga proyekto, na mga programa sa agrikultura, sa health, at saka sa housing, human settlement, etc. Ay tama ho ang financial management. Kung hindi naman kasi sususugan ng pondo yan, wala ho mangyayari dyan. No? Ang problema nito, yung ating Secretary of Finance, alam niyo sabi sa agriculture is a sunset industry.
Wow.
Alam niyo ba kung saan niya kukunin ang food security? Importation. Saan siya kukuha ng new money? Privatization. Ayan, yung kakapurit na nakukuha natin sa Pogo, dahil may mga illegal na na-involve sa Pogo, gusto niyang walisin pa ang Pogo, including yung mga legitimate Pogo operators. Tapos, para balansehin ho ang libro, yung mga squatted, yung mga habas lupa, I'm sorry to mention it, no? At yung mga patay gutom, yun ang bibigay niya ng pera para naka-alleviate ang poverty. Pero yung pera na yan, hindi niya bibigay sa farmer as subsidy. Hindi niya bibigay sa mangingisda as incentive. Hindi niya ibibigay sa sa mga small businesses para baka ibsa sila ng kanilang mga maliliit na negosyo.
Ayuda.
So, sino ngayon?
Alam mo yan si Joke, no? Hindi siya nagkakamali sa kanyang finance strategy. Kasi tama yung kanyang finance strategy para sa kanya. For his ideology. Ang ideology ni Jokno is anti-human beings. Matagal na yan. Anti-human beings. Every time he comes up with a 10-point, 5-point, 6-point economic program, it is always there. One of them is must address the overpopulation problem. So, eto lahat na sinasabi mo, no? Directed towards lessening the capacity to produce food for our people. Who are the first ones that will suffer? Siyempre, yung marginal people. Yan, masaya siya dahil babawas ang populasyon natin. Ganyan ang ideology niyang si Joke. Kailangan po mabasa nyo. Noon pa nandyan yan. No? Noon na noon pa.
Pagka pinagsasama-sama natin lahat ng pinag-uusapan ngayon, all of this order of priorities, we're talking about departments, we're talking about agencies, we're talking about trajectories, sabi nga ni Ado, we're talking about where we're supposed to go. Ngunit ang nagpapalakad niyan ay itong mga tao ito. Isa-isa na natin nababanggit. Tama ba yung mga nakaupo dyan? Na-mention nyo si Secretary Jokno. Na-mention nyo yung kung sino-sino pang andyan na in charge sa Ministry of Human Settlements na housing lang pala ang kanyang prioridad. Andyan din yung mga kung sino-sino pa na saan nga patungo lahat ng mga kinakailangan dito sa order of priority. Tao ang magpapalakad. Are we also in the order of priorities insofar as qualified people? Qualified meaning, sila ba talaga ang andyan? Kasi napag-usapan nga yan sa Foreign Affairs. Tingnan mo yung pinagsasasabi doon na isang undersecretary. Qualified ba siya magsalitang ganon na napakabigat ng kanyang mga sinasabi na pwede tayong mapahamak?
Actually, yung mga ganyan dati, confidential pa yan eh. Nakasilyado pa ng top secret envelope yan eh.
Right.
Ha?
Hindi
At walang lalabas dyan hanggat walang desisyon ang Pangulo. Pero klarong-klaro mga
May retrato
kabansa.
pa sila. Nakita mo, ang liit ng Pilipino, ang laki ng Amerikano.
Oh,
Even that, even by size, you could say na talagang may discrepancy yung pinag-usapan dyan. Whatever it's physically or otherwise.
Ang ginagawa ng Amerikano, ikinakahon na tayo.
Dati na.
Yung pine-frame up na po tayo. Para pagdating ng report kay BBM, wala na siyang choice. No? Hindi ba naiinsulto si Presidente? Hindi ba niya masabi sa mga tao niya na huwag muna kayong maingay? Ha? Ito ba si Faustino, tatakbong governor o congressman o senador na kailangan maglabas siya ng ganito kabobo na statement
Sabi nga ang ating
that
president,
compromises our national
masyado daw
security?
masyado mabait ang ating presidente.
Masyado
Mahaba
mabait.
din ang kanyang ang anong tawag dito, ang kanyang tolerance sa lahat ng mga nangyayari diyan sa paligid niya. Yung sinasabi nga natin kanina, doon ba lang mismo sa pinaka sensitive na mga posisyon, nagkagulo na diyan, nagpalit na ng executive secretary, may bago na naman. At doon natin nakikita yung sinasabi ko nga, lahat itong mga priorities na kailangan isagawa, yung mga tao bang gagawa nito ay ginagawa nila yung kailangan gawin. So yun ang katanungan. May trajectory, sino ang tumutulong sa ating Pangulo para pumunta sa gusto niyang pupuntahan.
Wala pang ang pangalang lumalabas dyan na talagang nakatulong nung eleksyon. Ang mga lumalabas na pangalan yung nakatulong ay nakatulong dahil sa pera.
Yung mga vloggers, di ba?
At itong
Mga oligarko.
mga oligarko nandyan. Marami tayo, pwede natin himayin yung mga yan. Pero, bakit natanggal si Rodriguez? Ito ho, ang marami na hong nagreklamo. At kaninang lunchtime, nalaman ko na pati si Secretary Abalos ng DILG ay nagtataka kung bakit halos lahat ng DILG undersecretary ay meron na. Siya yata ang huling na-appoint. Siya ang head ng department. Kaya medyo naiinis na rin yung Abalos. No?
Wala siyang say kung sino yung mga undersecretary niya.
At ang umuugong mo ay mukhang yung nauna na yung mga kamag-anak ni ganon, yung mga ganito, yung mga thank you daw sa ganon-ganon. Naku, napakamasalimuto niya. Para tayong alam niyo mga kabansa, a few days ago, binomba, allegedly ng Amerika, ang dalawang pipeline
So,
ng Ruso papuntang Germany. Ang probability po na maraming mamamatay sa Europa, East and West Europe Dahil kayo hindi nyo naiintindihan, mga kabansa. Hindi nyo naiintindihan. Na ang winter, dahil 2 seasons lang tayo dito eh. Sa 4 seasons po, lalo na may yelo at lalo na dyan, medyo nandun sila sa bandang itaas. Malamig na malamig po dyan. Alam nyo ba, tens of millions of Germans and Russians have died every time the Germans would try to
Yep.
invade. Even Napoleon, the French tried to invade Russia. Anong pumigil sa kanila?
Winter.
Winter. Anong pumigil sa mga Aleman? Winter. Ang dami pong namatay on both sides. Pero ngayon, dahil po sumabog yan, walang gaas ang Europa. Ako nagdarasal na lang eh. Because we don't want to see innumerable sufferings, especially sa mga taga-Europa na para bang na nangyari dito ay na 1, 2, 3 pa sila ng Amerika at para i-prevent lang sila from cooperating with Russia ay nangyari itong the worst, sabi nga, terroristic act in history. Sino lang po ang may kakayahan ng ganyan? Ngayon, paggising nyo, kinabukasan, sino kasiping ninyo? Amerika. Ito ho nagdulot ng problema sa Europa. Ito ho ang ating puproteksyonan pagka nagkagulo sa Taiwan. Ito ho ang ating mga kaibigan na may iksi ang memorya. So, wag po tayong maging complacent because baka po bukas ay wala na tayo. Ngayon, may nabibili pa tayo eh. May movements pa, mga products and all that stuff eh. Ultimo yung, my goodness, Rita, yung isang tirintas ng pechay na gano'n, 20 pesos na.
Naku, yung isang tali dati ng sitaw eh. At least 12 sitaw pa yon. Ngayon 5 na lang. Sa isang tali. Kung yan lang, kung gulay lang ang ulam mo, talagang gulay. Anyway, yun na nga ang tinatawag natin na order of priorities, na pag-usapan na natin kung gaano ka-critical ang ating defense. Kaya yun ang inuna natin. Yung sinasabi nga ni Ado, kung ano man mang nangyari dyan, ay talagang malaking pinsala ang sa mga tao sa Europa. Ito namang isang priority natin, na pag-usapan din natin ng pagkain. Tapos nakita rin natin kung ano mga kinakailangan sa lugar na yan. Ngunit ngayon, COVID-19 o COVID, kung ano man ilang numero na yung COVID na yan, yung mga vaccine na yan na kailangan mag-booster, yung face-to-face na yan sa mga opisina at sa mga pag-aaral, wala pa rin tayong Secretary of Health. Sapagkat ngayon, ang ating Pangulo, kinongratulate niya yung mga nagtatrabaho overseas, ang gagaling namang nurses natin sa buong mundo, sila ang hinahanap dito sa atin. We need at least 200 million or 200,000 nurses. May mga ospital na nagsara na yung mga floors nila sapagkat kulang nga ng nurses. So, dito natin makikita yan sa ating problems sa health, sa ating problems dito sa mga vaccine, kung kinakailangan pa mag-booster, nag-booster ka na nga ng sangkatutak pero nagkakasakit ka pa rin. Anong epektibo niyan? So lahat ito kailangan sa ngayon, kahit na andyan pa yung COVID na yan, meron tayong direksyon pupuntahan yan sa Department of Health. Nasabi na nga ng Pangulo, papatayo ng mga tertiary hospitals sa mga probinsya at lahat. Maganda yan. Ngunit yung sa health centers mismo, sa bawat barangay, mahalaga din na yan matutukan. Health is another in the order of priorities. So wala pa rin tayong nakaupong Secretary of Health dyan. Sa education, isa pa rin yan. Yung review na kailangan isinagawa ng K1 to K12. Meron ba talagang malaking natulong na nagkaroon na ng hanap buhay lahat ng natapos sa K12? Hindi, nag-iintay pa rin ng trabaho. At karamihan, ganun pa rin.
Kasi
Mag-abroad.
hindi nag-adjust yung
Exactly.
employment area.
Kasi iba yung ating ginawang pattern.
Correct.
Sa ibang bansa,
Oo.
kinopya lang natin.
Hindi in-integrate
Hindi
yung
yan, exactly.
supply and demand.
Hindi akma.
Hindi akma.
That is the importance, again, of the priorities at yung mga tao na nagpapalakad nito.
Meron pala ako ipa-plug bago mo basahin.
Oh, sige.
Itong ating
Okay.
mga well-researched, no?
Sige.
Ako po ay nag-issue ng isang book sale para sa Pasko. Ito po ang inyong iregalo nyo sa inyong sarili. 1,200 lang po, 2 libro na, kasama na ang delivery. No? At text nyo lang ako kung interesado kayo sa 0917-336-4366. Lahat po ng bibili rito ay by first week of January, magraraffle po ako ng isang collector's item book ni Xi Jinping entitled The Governance of China.
Wow.
Ganyan po kakapal yung libro. Kaya ito po isang opportunity to have a good Christmas item, a Christmas book sale. Ito pong 2 kong libro, Problem for Every Solution and No Vaccine for a Virus Called Racism. Maraming salamat po.
Okay.
Rita,
Ulitin natin yan. Mahalaga po
Yung
yan.
number. Sabihin mo yung
Ulitin
number ulit.
natin. 0917-336-4366. Mag-text
Okay.
po kayo dyan para dyan sa book sale na yan. Ang pagbabasa po ay talagang mahalaga. As a matter of fact, siguro kailangan sabihin din natin sa ating Department of Local Government, Department of Education, sana bawat barangay meron silang library. Sapagkat yun po ang talagang kinakailangan ng lahat, magbasa. At lahat ng tayo, kagaya na sinasabi nga ni Ado, yung mga sinulat niya, ang sarap basahin, nakakatuwa. Sapagkat habang binabasa mo, ay hindi ka lang natututo, marami kang namumulat yung mata mo. Yung sinasabi nga niya, a solution for every problem. Yan na tayo dito sa Crossfire. Parang lahat ng problema, iniikot-ikot natin dito. Pero sa katapusan ng ating programa, dan yung makikita.
A
There is
problem for every solution.
Oo. Kaya,
ito ngayon na ating well-wishers. Baka
sige. Okay, meron tayong mga messages ngayon.
greetings.
Oo.
Okay.
BBM will strengthen people.
PVP.
Ay, ito yung ano, oligarchs are still managing public utilities. Yan nga po ang ating sinasabi eh. Sana naman po ay maayos yan. GQ Shariam, ano ba yun? Good afternoon. Salamat po. Maraming salamat. Lito Polintan, Help BBM, Miss Governance, help him choose the better sex. Naku, yan lang po ang ginagawa namin dito tuwing Sabado. Talagang lahat pong ito ay para makatulong sa ating Pangulo. Joe Berderio, good evening po Sir Butch, Ma'am Rita. Kaado, mabuhay po kayo watching from Jeddah. Indira, Miss Rita, no-brainer answer to your query. PBM was already forced to commit to the US the time he went to the General Assembly. Otherwise, baka nga dumating ang economic hitman sa Pinas, so this game has begun. Ako po, talaga pong yan ang malungkot. You know, a very powerful country and a very powerful nation was the one that removed one of our best presidents. Huwag niyong kalimutan yan.
Well, remember, that president didn't have Plan B. We have Plan B and C.
That's right.
Plan B is China, Plan C is India.
Yes. Oo, yan ang mga malalaking bansa. Nakapit-bahay din natin. Lynn Cabrera abolished the Mutual Defense Treaty, EDCA and BFA. Yes, we want peace in this region. Yes, very good. BBM Pilipinas, Japan, 2022 team. Marcos pa rin, Marcos Avengers. Kung upo pa lang ni BBM, may hindi pa nga siya nag 100 days in 3 months. Pala siyang, bakit di kayo tumulong? Ito na nga ang ginagawa natin. Makinig kayong mabuti. Lahat po ito ay para sa kanya. Jessica Sumpio, buti bumalik ka, Ma'am Rita. Maraming salamat po. Salvador Seriaco, we agree that Philippines should produce its food locally, not to import, which kills our own farmers and fishing. Oh, tama po yun. Streetwise with Takero Miyamoto. Hello, Miss Rita Ga. Hello din po sa iyo. Nita Maglala. Hello po, Ma'am Rita. Maraming salamat po. Watching from Rome, Italy. O arrivederci, whatever else you say in Italian. I was a former response employee assigned in the Human Resource Department.
Okay.
Alam mo yan kung paano kagaling yung department na yan. OB1, sa pagkakaalam ko po, ay kinuha ng San Miguel Corporation ng mga expert na nag-design ng Netherlands, which is also under sea level, pero nagawa nila ng maayos. Tingnan po natin kung kaya nilang gawin yan.
Mahaba hong ano yan. In fact, yung ginawa ho sa Netherlands, nagpalit na ng flood control philosophy. Alam niyo ba yon?
Oo.
Ang ini-implemento ng mga kinuha na sa Netherlands, yung old policy ng Netherlands. Mahaba pong usapin yan.
Philip Dolete, Tagalog na lang ang salita ko, maaari lang po. Opo, Consuelo Gomez Valdez, ask Lisa, she is the Iron Lady. Naku po. Food Tech Buddies, if it's a PBM, we do not deserve him. If he isn't campaigning anymore, ano ba? He is showing his true self. So weak. Nako, hindi naman po sana. Jinky Bill, watching from Germany po. Guten Nacht. Guten Morgen, whatever it is. San Lorenzo Ruiz, Sacramento TV. Now, Faustino agreed to USA if the war in Taiwan escalates. We thought PBM wants peace and neutral the region. PBM, are you kissing an ass or a coward? Hala, ayan na. Tanong yan, ipapasa namin sa kanya. Gats Vitalco, ano nangyari sa what's GMFTM? Greater Manila
Food
Terminal. Oo nga.
Yeah.
At pinagbili po. Yung food terminal, pinagbili po. Doon
Sa Ayala.
lahat ng produce andon. Pinagbili sa oligarch.
Kailangan natin ulit magtayo ng ganyan.
Yan.
no?
Oo, sapagkat
Because
dyan.
that takes over from the middleman.
At saka yung sa mga kadiwa stores, dyan yung makikita talagang diretso ang presyo at dumutubo ang mga magsasaka. Importante yan para sa control ng pressure. Yes, very true. That's very true. Daya ng malaki talaga ang problema namin dito sa Europe kasi nagtataasan na lahat. Heater sa bahay, kuryente. Yan, sa Denmark, naku po. Pinakamalamig na lugar yan doon talaga. North. So there we have it, some of our messages and texts. Listen to us every Saturday. We are here in support of government, in support of our country, and in support of our president. We mean him well. We wish the best for him. We also would like to find out also what is being done in this order of priority. So on behalf of Ado and Sir Butch, this is Rita Gadi. Maraming salamat po. This has been Crossfire.